If you're here for the first time, welcome. And if you've been here before, definitely welcome back. This is another episode about me feeding my family, the adventures of the other Chef Ramsay. Maybe I'll name the show that, I don't know. But anyway, it's Sunday, fun day. Sunday dinner. You know, it's a tradition in a lot of families. It's a family thing. It's nostalgia. It's usually something, something sumptuous, something comforty. Sunday dinner. It has a vibe to it. And, usually takes, something takes longer to cook because you have time. It's not during the hustle and bustle of the week. And it kind of gives you an opportunity to reset after, a long week. You have a little bit of fun, running up and down, chores and all this other stuff on the weekend. Then you have that little opportunity to reset on Sunday. Sunday dinners, a lot of times, family comes over, or, we sit around the table tonight instead of around the TV and, just enjoy a meal together, have that little reset time before we start a whole new week. So, for me, Sunday dinner always involves, comfort foods and, it's winter still. So, we're gonna do a lot of roasting, oven roasting, because I'm not outside on the grill as much. And today we're gonna do a little bit of roast chicken, whole roast chicken. And on the side we're gonna do potatoes and string beans. So we got a whole bunch of stuff here, ingredients. We're just gonna get cooking. Yeah, so we got this whole roaster. It's about 7 pounds of beautiful bird. I've removed the guts, the gizzards, and the hearts and stuff like that. My dog is gonna get a special treat out of this later. I'll cook that up and mix it up as dog food. So I'm just gonna wash my chicken. Couple of limes, some kosher salt, some vinegar, or even a white vinegar, and of course water. And all of this stuff is, I'm West Indian. It's part of our tradition to really, make sure we take care of our meats and, wash them up. You take the skin of the lime and you can give it a little scrub. It's in the package for, I don't know how long it stays in the package in the supermarket for. It kind of sweats in there a little bit. Sometimes the skin is a little bit slimy. You want to remove all of that stuff. So definitely, it can't hurt to give your chicken a little rinse, a little bath. And you don't want to be splashing all over the place and making a mess, because that's how you contaminate your work area. I just splashed. Yeah, that's how you contaminate your work area, by making a mess or a muck of this thing. But you definitely want to kind of control yourself. Use the backs of your hands and stuff like that. You want to touch stuff, and then move your chicken, and give your hands a good wash. If you have to leave from your chicken station to do something, to touch something else. But cleanliness is key here. But you definitely want to get the chicken a little bit cleaner than you got it from the supermarket. Put it that way. You look at the water that runs off of it, it's not clear and stuff like that. So, you just want to give your chicken a little bit of attention, give it a little bit of love. And at the end of the day, even if it doesn't, if the science that they talk about on TV holds up, what have we done? We've put a little bit of salt, we put a little bit of vinegar, we put a little bit of lime, citrus on our chicken, and it just gives more flavor. So, did it hurt? Nope. Wash your chicken. Also, when you're done with your work area, after you finish working with your chicken, rinsing it off and everything, you want to get all of your area clean as possible. Try some cleaner with bleach. I use Lysol wipes as well. Kills 99.9% of viruses and bacteria. Why not? Clean up your area, and then you have sanitation. All right, so we're ready to dress our chicken. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I got a little bit of melted butter here, and what I'll do with this is just pour it right over the top and all around. And what this will do for us is it's gonna give us flavor. It's salted melted butter, and it's also gonna help the seasonings to adhere to the skin of the chicken. So here comes the seasoning. Now, for my seasoning blend, today I'm going to put, this is my salt, pepper, and garlic mix. This is equal parts of salt, pepper, and garlic. Top off that. And together that'll be about a good tablespoon. I want some sage in here because sage is a nice earthy herb and it goes very well with chicken. So this is about another good tablespoon of sage. I have some more herbs here. This is an Italian seasoning blend, and that tastes good. It has a lot of different stuff in it, like rosemary and thyme and basil. Yeah, so this is a good blend. Just a little sprinkle. Some regular paprika. This hand is kind of wet still. I just washed them. This one, I rinsed it. So I'm just keeping it over here because I'm getting ready to get into this chicken. So this is, a good few sprinkles of paprika. And I'm gonna take these out now, deal with this garlic. So we've got that going on. So all we're gonna do is mix this up by hand. And just start seasoning. Very liberally, you get up top, season from high so you get a good coverage. You don't want to see any little pale parts of bird. Cover it all the way up. Give it a flip. Yeah, all around, under the arms, like deodorant. Get in between these little leg parts here. You want to make sure you're seasoned up nice and well. You can toss them in the cavity. You're gonna deal with this cavity too. We have the makings of a nice, well-seasoned bird. I'm gonna take this garlic cloves and I'm gonna stick them in the cavity along with some fresh thyme and also some fresh rosemary. I'm gonna give my garlic just a rough chop. Some nice large pieces of garlic. So you want to get this all up in the cavity. This is going to you can rub your chicken with it a little bit, get some of that garlic flavor on the outside, and stick a little piece in here, there. That's fine. A couple of sprigs of rosemary. And all this lends a little bit of fragrance and flavor to your chicken from the inside out. More flavor is good, the more the merrier. You see this little, some little seasonings from here sticking to the pan. Get that on there. You don't want to waste any of this stuff. It's good. What's up, docs? I like a snack. Anytime I encounter carrots in my cooking, I always got a snack on while I'm cooking because I love them. All right. Enjoy me chewing on this carrot for a couple seconds. Action. So we've got carrots and celery all cut up here in nice big chunks. So We're not gonna put these in the chicken or anything, but here's what we're gonna do with this. We got a roasting pan. This is where I'm gonna cook my chicken. It's a nice deep roasting pan. If you are from a West Indian household, you recognize this guy. Everybody has one or two of these. So I'm just gonna get all these vegetables in here. And then I'm just gonna spread them out. And what this is gonna do is, this is gonna serve as a base for our chicken. Our chicken is gonna sit right on top of this this bed of carrots and celery. And it's gonna serve as like a roasting rack, sort of. It's gonna keep the bottom of the chicken off of the bottom of the pan so that it doesn't stick and it's not gonna like burn by being in direct contact with the heat. And also later on, it's gonna roast along with the chicken, and all of the nice juices and the fat that renders and goes down into the base of the pot is gonna combine with these vegetables and make for a good base for a gravy, or just, you know, a little bit of jus to put back on top of the chicken while it's roasting or after, whatever. So this is gonna serve as a double purpose, right? So I'm just gonna get my chicken out of my seasoning pan, right on top of here. I should have took my spatula out earlier. Right back. Just that fast. You know, I just touched the chicken. I gotta get something from in here. I gotta wash my hand real quick. So, just grab the spatula. And we've got a lot of extra seasoning that stuck to the pan. We're not gonna let any of it go to waste. Whatever liquid is here, just gonna pour that right on top. Will not, presentation, will not hurt this one bit, right? So this chicken is ready to go straight into the oven. I'm gonna cover this with foil. For the first part of the roasting, so that way the heat is captured, the skin of the chicken is not gonna get too brown too early. So this is gonna create a nice steam lock inside here while the chicken is coming up to a nice temperature. And then in a little while, we'll take that off and then let the oven do its thing to brown the outside. So I'm just gonna kind of loosely cover this with foil. I'm gonna leave a little bit of opening in a couple of spots so that some of the air, some of the hot, dry air from the oven gets inside. You can also just poke a couple of holes, because I don't want the chicken to be like very moist steam, but you know, you want to get that the benefit of the heat locked into the situation, so your chicken is gonna cook very nicely. All right, so this is done and ready to go into the oven. I got my oven set for 375. Also, if you're West Indian, you keep stuff in your oven, even when you're not using it. Right in there. Chicken is safely in the oven. Now it's time to deal with my sides. First, I'm gonna deal with the potatoes. So to season these up, I'm gonna use garlic. You know, I don't cook without garlic. I try not. I don't know if I try not to or it just doesn't happen that way. Love garlic. And shout to my one of my mentors, Martin Yang from PBS, for showing me how to deal with garlic. So you put down the garlic and bam, garlic, finish. Garlic is done. So I'm gonna just smash a couple cloves of garlic. You can just come in, give it a quick chop, and your garlic is done and dealt with. I got these petite potatoes because it's easy to use these delicate young potatoes. You don't have to worry about peeling, and they're so small. When for roasting, you put them in the oven. You don't have to cut them in half and quarters and stuff like that. They're good, just like this, right out the pack. You don't really have to do much to it. I mean, observe and make sure you don't have any ones with eyes and any ugly stuff going on. I'm gonna give these a quick rinse because I don't know where they came from. My potatoes are all rinsed and washed. When I deal with potatoes, I like to give them a little bit of attention because they grow in the dirt. I mean, I'm sure they're not as dirty as they were when they came off of the farm or whatever, but they grow in direct contact with soil. So give them a little bit of a rinse. You can give them a little bit of a scrub, especially for the larger potatoes. I like to use a fresh sponge and just, like the scrubby part, I'll take a fresh sponge out of the pack, rinse that, and then I'll give my potatoes a little. This is not these fresh sponge. You kind of do it with these. I'm just showing you. Give your potatoes a little bit of scrub, some of that earth comes off, and you have a nicer skin to work with. So that's what I like to do with potatoes. Now, these are already situated in this pan. I'm gonna give them some olive oil, love. And I'm gonna toss this a little bit so that all the surfaces get covered with a little bit of oil. You roll them around, let them jump a little bit, right? I've got some leftover seasoning from what we used to season the chicken. So I'm just gonna sprinkle this right over everybody. And this had paprika and Italian seasoning and sage, salt, pepper, and garlic. Right? So we gave that some. Give them a shake again so that we're covering. Oops, got away. All right. Finish that off with the rest of this. And then I'm going to take some of this garlic that I just finished busting up, and I'm just going to put that right inside. And last but not least, potatoes and rosemary are like best friends. Roasted potatoes and rosemary are like best friends. So I'm just going to pull a few sprigs off of this. I'll set the whole stem in here. It's going to give fragrance to the whole deal. And then this is one of these things also, like if you rub it a little bit, it releases some of the oils. And when you break it apart, you manipulate this stuff, it intensifies the flavor. I'm going to give these a coarse chop just so that I have more to distribute for everything. I don't like to scrape with my good knife because it's going to dull the blade. I just finished honing the blade, so use something else to scrape stuff scrape stuff up off of your cutting boards. If you use your cutting knives, you're going to be dulling it and misshaping the knife blade. You don't really want to do that if you don't have to, right? So we've got our rosemary activating all these oils, and then I'm just going to give it a nice sprinkle. It's going to stick to the potatoes because they have the olive oil on there and all the seasoning. These are ready for the oven right now. The oven is at 375, and they're going to take way less time than the chicken. So I'm just going to let these chill on the side. Right. Green beans. Simple, delicious, in season. I just gave them a little rinse. I'm not like OCD or anything like that, but these things grow in nature with bugs and dirt and God knows what, and cows stepping on. I don't know where it came from. If it didn't come from my backyard, I don't know where it came from. I don't know who was touching this before me. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of a rinse. It's not gonna hurt me, so it'll only help if anything. So I hear about people having, you know, outbreaks of E. coli and this and that. Oh, people are, you know, maybe somebody couldn't make it to the bathroom, so they had to take a hot one in the field, and they tell nobody. That stuff gets stepped on and trampled in your food and stuff like that. You know, I'm gonna wash my food a little bit before I indulge in it. You know what I'm saying? Before I give it to my family. So we got these green beans. I'm just gonna get them trimmed up. They have, you know, they're, you know, fresh. They got this little stem here, where I guess they hang from, and this is not edible. So you just you can snap them off, or I like to just gather them up and cut them off. So I'm just gonna prepare these green beans real quick. Now that I got them all washed and trimmed nicely, we're just gonna saute these really simply in a pan. We're just gonna pan saute them. So we're gonna go in with a little bit of oil. So we're just gonna go in with our string beans. We'll put about half of them. Some of our chopped garlic. Our salt, pepper, and garlic seasoning. Nice sprinkle. And just give that a toss. That'll help it coat it with some of the oil. You can throw a little bit extra just to make sure everything gets nice and coated. The seasoning will stick to it. It's tasty. We're gonna put the rest. It's so loud. All right, a little bit more oil. The rest of our chopped garlic. Salt, pepper, garlic. And I'm going to come in here with some chopped onion. Chunky, really crispy, had a nice little texture. Excuse me. Then you can just come in and give it a little bit of attention, give it a little bit of love, turn it, observe it. And you can do this way in advance. You don't want to cook it too long because I like a little bit of crunch on my string beans. So I'm going to give this a little bit of attention. This is on a nice low, medium-low flame. So I'm going to let these just cook. Then I'll turn them around a little bit, let them get a little bit of caramelization on them. And then I'll turn it again. And then I'm just going to put those to the side. And I won't have to worry about them because they'll be on the side chilling. Our oven, our chicken is in the oven doing its thing, and then shortly the potatoes will join the chicken, and then I'll just relax until stuff is ready to go. Everything is looking pretty good. We got a nice coverage of our garlic, and our garlic is starting to get a little bit brown. We're at danger zone, so we want to pull this off of the heat. Before it starts to get all bitter. You don't want your stuff to burn. So we'll remove that from the heat, and these are done. They're warmed all the way through, and they're nicely cooked. You know, about 5-6 minutes. Hear that nice crunch? They're fully cooked through, knocked off all of that raw flavor. But the carryover heat, which means it's going to continue cooking in the heat that it's already absorbed. So it'll raise up a little bit more in the temperature. They'll actually soften a little bit until it reaches a peak, and then it starts to cool off. So that's how, you know, when you're cooking, you have the absorption of heat, and then once you remove it from the heat, from the flame, or from the oven or whatever it is, it's called carryover. It's going to continue to cook. It'll continue to build because it was going in that direction. It'll continue to build that heat until it reaches a certain point. You know, a lot of things, maybe 5, 6 degrees, depending on the density of it and how hot of a heat we had applied to it. It'll keep going, and then once it peaks, then the temperature starts falling off and you get back down to like a room temperature. So these string beans are gonna go back down to a room temperature, and by the time they do that and we're ready to serve, they're gonna be totally done. Plus, since I got them done early, when we get everything done, about 5 minutes before I serve, what I'll do is I'll put that back on and let them heat up just a little bit, just to warm them through a little bit more. So that'll be probably in the 3-4 minutes of additional cooking later on. But this is just to just get it out the way. All right. My chicken's been going for about maybe 30 minutes or so with this cover. So that's all steam and getting the inside up to a nice temperature, getting that ball rolling, right? Take a real quick peek. Starting to look good. I'm coming in here with my probe thermometer, and I'm gonna put this in the thigh, right? Avoiding the bone. You wanna put this in the thigh to the deepest part. And you wanna make sure you're not hitting any bone while you're in there, so you just feel around a little bit. And then what you want is to get a reading of about 170 on that thigh. So I got my probe thermometer inserted. I'm just gonna put this up on top, and then once it reaches that desired temperature, it's gonna alarm and let me know that it's time to take out this bird. So I've taken the cover off to allow the outside to start getting that that nice color. I'm gonna stick my potatoes in at this point. So by the time the chicken is finished cooking, the potatoes should be done as well. So just got my thermometer in there, and I'm gonna monitor this after a little while. All right. All kinds of clickers and buzzers going off here. My chicken is ready. My thermometer told me so. I let it broil a little bit just to get the top a little bit more brown and delicious. The chicken's ready. Of course, little baked potatoes been ready, and string beans ready. So that's Sunday dinner. Yeah, that's Sunday dinner in a nutshell. You know, comfort classic, whole roasted chicken, roasted potatoes, and some lovely string beans. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time. Hi, how are you?